Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? This is BC. I wanted to talk today about why I decided to do calisthenics about 2 years ago now as a heavyweight athlete. For a basketball player, I'm small, but generally speaking, for the everyday population, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'2", I'm just under 200 pounds. So we know that typically gymnasts and people who do calisthenics in the street workouts are normally smaller individuals with a few exceptions. I got in originally wanting to achieve some of the highest moves like the full front lever, the planche, handstand push-ups, some of that stuff, right? I'm going to get back into probably tumbling like I used to do when I was a kid. I used to be able to do back flips and front flips. I haven't done that in a long time, but I'm going to get back into it because I think it's cool and I enjoy the freedom of movement. But I wanted to specifically talk to you guys today about why I decided to go calisthenics, right? Well, the first thing that I loved about it is it challenged me and excited me in a way that weights don't. Now, I've always been a from the waist down athlete because of basketball, right? I used to do a lot of sprints, plyometrics, power cleans, squats, deadlifts. My lifts were very high and I could jump out of the gym pre-injuries and all that stuff. And I just really focused on explosiveness and power. I never really worked my upper body like that though. So getting into calisthenics, never really done it in my life. Like I couldn't even hold an L sit when I started. And now I can L sit if I'm fresh, probably for like 20, 30 seconds. And I have big legs, right? Like I'm not a little dude. I'm 6'2", almost 200 pounds. And I would say I have pretty bulky and long legs too. So I don't really have the proportions that would benefit a calisthenics athlete, right? But it excited me. It was hard. It was challenging. And I said, you know what? This is like a Mount Everest for me in a way where a lot of things are working against me, but fuck it, right? Victory is going to taste that much sweeter because once I start having success in calisthenics, I'll know the amount of work and dedication and effort that it took to get there, right? So that's the first one. Number two is it's functional. I'm working flexibility. I'm doing full range of motion, strength and full range of motion, concentric, eccentric, everything. You have to be flexible. If you lack mobility or strength or compression strength or joint movement or something, the calisthenics movements will expose that and let you know, hey, you need to get over this, right? So if your lats aren't strong enough, you're not going to be able to front lever, right? If you don't have the flexibility in your shoulders, you're not going to be able to do a handstand, right? So I enjoyed the fact that while I was building my body and physique, I was also addressing weaknesses and building my body in the way that it was designed to be made. I know a lot of people who do weights who have joint problems and that kind of stuff. And the little aches and pains that I've had since starting calisthenics have gone away. The only issue I ever had, and this was from blatant overtraining because I'm too damn intense, was I got a slight bit of I think like tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, whatever they call it. But I was able to mitigate that just by lowering my volume a little bit, implementing deload weeks where we, take a week and we just do sets and reps instead of, doing weighted pull-ups and weighted dips and all that stuff. So that was just a matter of me dialing into the proper training frequency and not going too overboard. I've always been the type to go more overboard. Like I'm super intense in everything that I do, balls to the wall. So in that case, it backfired against me, right? But the flexibility, the range of motion, exposing weaknesses, you work out, your whole body. I just loved it. To me, very functional and just like the epitome of fitness in my eyes, right? Do I still lift? Sure. I still do accessory exercises like the straight arm dumbbell fly to build the biceps. I do weighted military press with my elbows in for the anterior deltoid, the front, to help with handstand push-ups and that type of strength. I still do squats and that kind of stuff. A little bit less compared to before, like back in the day, but I still do some weights. I still do deadlifts. I have nothing against weights. I just am more like 80, 90% calisthenics, maybe 10%, 20% weights. And I enjoy the calisthenics more, right? The second one is I feel like it gives me a lot less wear and tear on my body. I get sore, no doubt, man. Working on the rings and doing all that stuff is it's intense, right? However, I feel like when I was doing a lot more weights, it would beat down my body more compared to calisthenics. Calisthenics, I'm just sore, but I'm good. But sometimes with the weights, like I wouldn't even be able to get out of bed and stuff was just aching and hurting like really bad, like to the point where I'm like, dude, like, is this muscle soreness or is this an actual problem? You know what I mean? Now, granted, I might have been going way too hard, which probably is the reason, but I'm also very limber. I can do the splits front and to the side. I actively stretch a lot, right? I have a background back in the day where my coaches, when I was playing basketball, since I was always pulling my hamstrings and having muscle issues, they forced me to do yoga to make me flexible. And to this day, I'm like super duper flexible, right? So I do stretch a lot, active stretching in the beginning, static stretching at the end of my workout. So I know it's not from lack of mobility or not being limber or making sure that I'm working these muscles. I just don't know what it was, but my body felt so much more beat down doing weights than it did doing calisthenics, right? The next point would be, I don't see many big dudes doing it. Yeah, you see a few of the social media freaks, right? Which is these guys that have been doing it 10, 15, 20 years that are around my size or bigger. But that's rare. And I think that's cool to be able to work my way into that club, not for bragging rights, but just to say, hey, you know, everyone else has the excuses. They sent me the DMs. They told me I couldn't do it. And now I'm starting to, you know, crack at it and slowly inch my way up towards being able to do some of these advanced movements, you know? And I think this year I'll be able to unlock a lot of these movements, you know? I'm bridging the gap between the advanced tuck front lever and the half lay, right? I think in the next 2-3 months, I should be able to unlock that. I think realistically, I can almost straddle planche already. I think I'm going to be more of a pusher than I am a puller in regards to just natural ability, right? Everyone's more proficient in one than the other. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, I'm pushing, and I really think some of those closer to advanced movements I'll be able to break this year. But knowing that you work so hard, so consistently to get there, to me is almost like a badge of honor for myself, because I like going after doing things and challenging myself to achieve certain things that other people either deem impossible or would tell you, hey, don't even bother doing that because it's a waste of your time, right? Now, no doubt it's harder. I know if I was smaller, I'd probably already be doing some of these moves, but I relish in the fact that I get so frustrated, but also love it simultaneously because, again, victory is going to be that much sweeter, right? Another one would be the community, right? I've met a ton of great people in the calisthenics community. I've met men, women, and everybody in between. And just at the park, at these different places. We're going to start going to gymnastics gym soon. And the community overall has been great when it comes to calisthenics athletes, right? They seem to care a lot more in general about their nutrition, their training regimen. They want to help each other out. They're very collaborative. And I really, really enjoy that, right? I really, really enjoy that because it seems like it's almost like a very tight-knit family and group, which is really, really cool, you know? What's up, buddy? I think the lights fascinate him, right? Quick little feature of my cat, right? One of my cats, Pharaoh. I have 2 Sphinx cats. That's the older one. So anyways, those are just some of the main reasons I decided to do it, y'all. I really highly recommend that if you don't do calisthenics, right? You don't do dips, push-ups, pull-ups, start with that, right? Body weight squats, doing burpees. I love doing burpees. I usually mix them into my workout to get a little extra cardio in if there's going to be a day that I'm not running or boxing or something like that. But I highly recommend you do it, right? You feel good. You start to shape your body in a certain way. Like my muscles aren't huge, but they're just dense and they're hard. You know, like I noticed that when I box now, if somebody touches me to the body, it's like they're hitting a wall. I don't feel anything to the body anymore from all the L-sit holds and L-sit raises and toes to bar and boat holds and all the stuff that you do in calisthenics. It just overall makes you a beast. My wrist mobility, my shoulder mobility, my joint health, everything is just improved across the board. Okay. So those are just some of the reasons I decided to do calisthenics as a heavyweight. But, you know, if you guys have any experience or you'd like to hear more, or you want to leave something in the comment section as well as to what your journey has been, whether you're a heavyweight or not, I'd like to hear it because calisthenics to me is cool. And I see myself doing it like well into my old age. All right. That's it for this one, y'all. I appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.